I was drafted 1 year out of high school. I graduated from Lane Tech in 1965. Again, as being a draftee, I was not allowed to pick any of my destinations or jobs or anything. I was assigned to an aviation battalion. So I flew on Chinook helicopters almost the whole year. It was better than pounding the ground with a radio on my back.
I got drafted in May of 1968. And I thought, well, this is an adventure. I'm single, I'm living with my folks, and I got kind of a dead-end job, so let's go. Let's do it.
Many of the other radio operators were assigned to infantry battalions and companies and had to do that, but I was assigned to the helicopters. These were the big helicopters with the two props, one front, one back, that hauled equipment. We were actually combat support. So we didn't go looking for trouble so much as we supplied. We hauled people, fuel, equipment, vehicles. We slung load equipment. We hauled in ammunition, food, people. We took out garbage, spent cartridges, you name it. We were busy. We flew 11 hours a day, 365 days a week, no days off.
And because I was drafted, I had no choice of what branch I wanted to go into. But about the last week of basic, they called me in and they interviewed all the different guys who were graduating. And the guy says, well, we got two positions. You can either be an MP or a medic. And all I could think of was a medic during World War II with the cross on their helmets and people shooting at them. I said, I'll take the MP.
And what did that entail?
MP is military police.
So I flew as a door gunner for about 5 months. Off and on, I filled in for people. And it made the day go by fast. And that's what all you wanted to do is pick another day off so you could come close to going flying home. So I was there in 1967, earlier than most fellows. Everybody I talked to was there in 69, 70, when the major population of military was there. I was there when it was rustic, and I was there with dirt floor tents were more common than hooches. And but you know, at age 19, you can take anything, and I didn't know what to compare it to, and it was acceptable. So it was the average age of the person there was 19, maybe 20. If you were 23, you were an old man.
Well, I'll tell you, they had the moon landing in 1969 when I was in Vietnam. I think it was like June or July or something. We found out a month later that they landed on the moon. So that's how much we had contact with the real world. Because the only thing you had Armed Forces Radio, which is kind of like what you see in Good Morning Vietnam, you know, kind of with the Robin Williams thing. And you had Stars and Stripes newspaper, and that was about it. We had no cell phones, you had no fax machines, you had no iPads, nothing like that. So pretty much it was all word of mouth. Even My Lie, which happened all around that time or so, we didn't find out about that till like we got back.
And it was approaching Tet, which was February of 68, and that was the Tet of 68. That was their big push in trying to get us out of there. And we didn't realize we were making history at that time. It was just like another month to us. But Victor Charlie, the enemy, poured everything they could down the Ho Chi Minh Trail at us and across the DMZ. And I was up near there. I was at a place called Phu Bai, which is not far from Hue. And we could see Hue burning in about 6 different colors every day: gray, brown, black, gray back again, and etc. I chose not to fly because I figured I was pushing my luck at that time. And we'd had a couple helicopters shot down. A couple of them were survivable, but one wasn't, etc. And I figured, well, I promised my mother I wouldn't die over there, so I tried to make good on my promise and wanted to get home in one piece.
One of the big things about that is with Vietnam was you went there alone, you came back alone. You know, during World War II or maybe Korea or something like that, you went as a group, you went as a unit or a company or a battalion or something like that. Well, here you come back alone. And you left all your buddies there and everything else. So basically, I caught a cab and went to the airport, and you know, they gave you a ticket to leave, you know, separation pay and all that. And you went back, and the folks knew I was coming back one of those days, so they were ready. And it was just basically like you're back home on the block. It was nothing special. Some people, I had cousins who didn't even know I was in Vietnam. And they, oh, where's Freddie? Oh, well, Freddie's in Vietnam. Oh, yeah? You know, your close buddies knew, or maybe your girlfriend or something like that. But basically, you just came back and that was it.
Quiet. We came home through Fort Lewis, Washington. They gave us all new khaki uniforms and our chevrons and medals, etc. I was a Sergeant E5 at that time, and came through O'Hare Airport with 5 or 6 of my other buddies that were also radio operators. No welcoming whatsoever. I was met with total indifference. People didn't even look at us. They kind of looked down and around us and didn't show us any preference. But they didn't show us any degradation. So we just walked back like we were one of the other normal civilians and came home to my family. There was 2 or 3 of them there. They knew we were coming home. I took my uniform off and had a 30-day leave. One other thing that kind of destroyed my homecoming was my high school sweetheart that I had been dating for about 4 years was 3 months pregnant via another Vietnam vet that was about a year ahead of me. So that was a bit of a damper.
I was very low key. I didn't go out and say, "Hey, I was there. I know about this." And I just quiet and stayed in the background and went on my life. That's all. Some guys could adjust better than other guys. It depends on what they went through. I don't know. There just wasn't support, and of course the war dragged on so long, and people got tired of it. It was a long war, and you could have 300 guys killed in a weekend. I mean, and they had to draft. The draft was a big thing. If you were drafting guys now for Afghanistan and Iraq, I bet you'd have a lot more upheavals and stuff. Now it's all volunteer. So people figure, volunteer, you're going, you volunteered for it. Well, that's it. But now you got, then you had to draft. You had people that didn't want to go and people that wanted to go. But I think it'd be a different story if you still had to draft.
Well, I thought I was okay. And everybody said, you seem to be okay, Tom. You seem to be unbothered by it. And I just seem to bury everything into me. But I think now I'm learning through analysis that my lack of welcome home really bothered me. And I just buried it within. And my wife at the time, she was, not opposed to the war outwardly, but she had nothing in common with me, nor did I have anybody out. There were no Vietnam vets around when I came home. I was the first, and I had nobody to talk to.
A lot of Vietnam vets, they just came back and went on with their lives. And then, of course, you always heard about the drug addicts or, my life kind of things and stuff like that. And you wonder, too, but it was a small minority. Most of them came back and went on with their lives. And, PTSD, I mean, you think about it. And sometimes you think about what you saw and all that stuff. But basically, I think most of them just came back and went on.
Has anyone ever said to you, "Welcome home"?
Now they have in the last 5 years, and it feels great. I always say thank you very much. That's a very nice thing to say, and it is beneficial. It's very therapeutic, and the things we do within the VVA, as we go out and talk to kids, is very therapeutic to me too. To tell our stories, even though it's a captive audience, it's great to say it and have somebody listen to us.